think the hardest battle every person faces is the one with themselves. I know it's said a lot, but it's something that took me a while to comprehend and see what the manifestation of that battle was within my life. I think the first step is becoming aware. And what I mean by aware is aware of your thoughts, aware of your decisions, and being able to separate yourself from your thoughts and emotions. This was important to me because I identified heavily with what was going on in my head. And if you're in a negative thought pattern for a while, a few months, maybe even a few years, and you're like me and you had associated yourself with your thoughts and emotions, it's very easy for your sense of worth to now be diminished. So once I became aware, I then had to understand that I am not my thoughts and emotions. And just because I think or feel a certain way does not make that the truth. In addition, I choose to hold on to these thoughts and emotions. It's not like they are in control of me. But for me to realize that took a lot of work. I think it's important to be aware of your emotional state, just because it can affect your decisions and your line of thinking, which then in turn affects your life. I'm not saying I walk around never feeling bad. It's just when I do feel bad, I have to take a moment to recognize that I feel bad and do what I need to do to resolve it. For me, the more that I've worked at it, the easier it's been to just let things go and let things bounce off of me. But again, I had to work up to that. Prime example, for a variety of reasons, I'm sure as many people do, but I tied my sense of worth to external things. What I had on paper, what I had in my bank account, the people I was with, and whatever I did for a living. I associated all that with my sense of worth. The issue with that is I'm now basing my sense of worth on all these things that are outside of me. And there are many things that I would like to think that I'm in control of, but I'm actually not. So when one thing goes wrong or something doesn't go the exact way that I planned it, I took that as a problem with me. Now, there are moments to do self-reflection, but there is also a balance with it. I now no longer base my sense of worth on anything external. Right now, I'm in a t-shirt, shorts that are like 5 years old, and a pair of Crocs. But I feel like $1 million. And the reason why is, again, I no longer need these things to feel fulfilled and satisfied. I think the best way to put it was I now focused on trying to attract rather than chase. So what chasing looks like is I'm doing these things to get something, to appear better, to get some status, to get something, some shiny new object. Now, instead of putting that energy into meaningless things like that, I direct it more towards me and things that I actually enjoy and that I want to do and that I feel that bring me fulfillment, regardless of what anybody else may think. For instance, I'm about to go to back-to-back jiu-jitsu classes. I went to one earlier today. Some people will look at that and think I'm wasting my time. To me, it's fulfilling. To me, I like it. So I'm gonna do it regardless of whatever somebody else may think. Is there a chance I could look back and maybe regret doing so much jujitsu? Maybe, but that's not something that's not a today problem. That's nothing that I need to concern myself with today. If in the moment, being aware of my emotional state and trying to be sure that I don't have any negative emotions influencing this decision, then I move forward with exactly that, faith. I probably have focused on making these changes for about a year now. And to my knowledge, there's not one time that I can think of where I regretted a decision that I made. The only time that I do is when I noticed the only time I did was when I noticed that my decision was influenced somewhat by emotion. Those are the only times I really have regret on decisions. The more that I've tried to remove the emotion, or at least negative emotions, from my decisions, the better my life has been. Like I said, I'm going to jiu-jitsu class. I only decided to start doing jiu-jitsu because I removed my negative emotions from that decision. Jiu-jitsu is something I've been wanting to do for years now. However, I used to tell myself that I didn't deserve to do jiu-jitsu. There's all these things I had to do before I had the right to do jiu-jitsu. I had to have a certain amount of my bank account and all these other things. At that point in time, I thought I had good intentions. However, I wasn't aware of how my emotions were influencing that decision. It is a little cliche, and I used to think it was corny when I would hear it, but I had to learn to love myself and be somebody that I'm proud of, not what I think other people would be proud of. I told myself I liked jiu-jitsu and the opportunity came up, at first I hesitated, but then I had to realize, like, oh no, like, if the same opportunity was available to someone that you loved and you cared for, you would tell them to go do it and go after it. So I decided to follow my own advice. And one thing led to another, and that's what actually leads to this video being made. From jiu-jitsu, I've come into contact with a lot of great people. And I've probably have gotten more value just from the relationships than the actual knowledge of the skill itself. I may go into the story another time, but you know, there was one gentleman there, a couple, but one in particular that has helped me a lot in just my almost reaffirming my hypothesis about life and decision making over the past year and a half. So when I finally had the chance to, you know, have a good conversation with him, I realized again how my emotions were influencing my decision on making a video and putting this out. I've wanted to do this for a good bit now, but again, even thinking that I somewhat am aware of my emotions, there's still this area of life where it was affecting me that it wasn't until I had a conversation with somebody where I could then see how I was being influenced and remove the emotion from it. Nobody's really gonna watch this, which is fine, but it's out and it's done. And I think that's the important part, over the first little hump. One thing I do strive to do is become better every day. And it's no longer for the sense of other people. It's now, I want to see what I can do. And at the end of the day, I just have to respect who I am in the mirror and the person that I see when I look in the mirror. That's the value and opinion that matters, that and God. So I just try to live every day as if I can look at myself, I can talk to God and say, I tried my best. Because that's all that's in my control.